Oh my goodness, I've seen this video so many times, but for some reason, I guess watching it here at Wimbledon just like is crazy.
Coco, you have given us some absolutely unforgettable moments here at SW19. So we're going to watch a few of them on the scoreboard and get your thoughts. Sound
Okay.
good?
Yeah, I'm excited.
What's the first memory that springs to mind when you think of Wimbledon?
But definitely my match against Venus Williams, I feel like is the most famous one that people talk about with me. So I would say that's like the first thing I think about.
Really glad you said that because
That's the first thing up.
cue our first clip. So this is you walking out onto #1 court as a 15-year-old in your Wimbledon
Oh my
debut.
goodness. Yeah, I remember being pretty nervous, and as you're walking along, you see like all the times she's won, and then that my dad always gives me a little kiss or handshake or something. Well, now handshake because I faded away from the kiss. And I also remember being surprised that they didn't announce you when you walked on the court, because the other tournaments say like your name, but here it's different. You just walk on and there's no announcement, which I think just kind of evened the playing field out for me, honestly. And I remember looking down the whole time I walked on court because I was too nervous to look in the crowd. And then when I finally looked up, I was like, okay, this is actually not that bad, because I've been in basketball stadiums and then things like that, and it felt a little bit more intimate.
And what about sort of facing Venus as well? Like, what did she represent to you at that point?
Yeah, she was, I mean, my idol and someone that I looked up to, and the reason, you know, why I played the sport and decided to play in belief. And yeah, I remember not wanting to look at the scoreboard because I didn't want to see her name, and it felt that it would feel too real if I saw Venus Williams up there.
And I mean, sharing the court with her must have been incredibly special.
Yeah, it was very special. It felt weird, to be honest. It's still, even talking about it, feels weird that it happened.
So we're going to fast forward to that same match, but you've just won the first set at this point.
Okay.
I love your reaction.
Oh, I don't even remember my reaction. I don't think I've watched the full match. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. I think I remember a little bit. Oh, my mom, she's in fun. So I remember wanting to react, but like the whole match, I was just trying not to be happy. I actually talked to Mary Jo Fernandez before the match, and she was like, don't go out there seeing how many games you can get. Go out there to win. And when I won that set, you know, it was just like one step closer, but it felt, again, like a marathon or a lifetime away.
Do you feel at that point like maybe there's an upset brewing?
No, I just didn't want to be the girl who got close and didn't get over the hump. So I think it was on my second or third match point that I won the match, and I remember just feeling shock, because even by the way I was hitting, I was so tight, and yeah, that was just like crazy. I didn't even want to react like that. Even I get a little emotional like looking at it, because it's just like, wow, how far I've come from that moment.
What did you say to her at the net?
I was just telling her like how much she meant to me, and that I wouldn't be playing this sport if it wasn't for her. And that's what I wanted to tell her. I thought I was gonna have that speech when I was losing and all of that. In that moment I was praying. I was just like, my parents put so much work into this, and I was just really like happy that I was able to pay that off for them.
And look how proud your parents were.
Oh God.
As well. I know.
Yeah. Yeah, they're super proud. Oh my goodness, I've seen this video so many times, but for some reason, I guess watching it here at Wimbledon just like is crazy.
I mean, it was absolutely incredible. How many times do you think you've watched this clip?
Because it comes up on my For You page quite a bit of times. And I've never cried at it until now. So I'm usually not a person that gets too emotional watching myself, but yeah, this only clip that usually makes me emotional when it comes up is when I won US Open, but this is the first time I've watched this and actually felt some type of emotion. I mean, oh my God, I didn't even put my racket in the bag or anything. I should have stayed out there longer.
Do you remember seeing your parents' reaction at the time?
Actually, I don't remember much from after that match. I don't even remember when I saw them. I didn't really know what to do or how to handle myself. I didn't know what the whole process, and then, you know, next thing you know it, like, and internet was going crazy. I was on newspapers and things like that. So,
I mean, you were 15. That's just so incredibly young. Does it feel like it was years ago now?
yeah, it feels so long ago. Even like my face and everything looks so different. So yeah, it feels a long time ago.
Okay, so 2021, you reached the 4th round, and here you are, still only 17.
Oh my goodness, I forgot I played her. What? Wow, my memory is so bad. I forgot I played her here.
Is there anything that you remember about this match?
I don't even know. Did I win?
You did not,
Okay.
I'm afraid.
Okay. I was like, I don't even know. I think me beating Kerber at Wimbledon is a little bit crazy.
Kerber just has the ability to make every match feel like a marathon. doesn't she?
Yes. Yeah, she's so good. Yeah, playing her, now the memories are coming back. Like, yeah, playing her on grass, I remember was so difficult because she hit the ball so low. Yeah. I just wasn't used to it, and she's obviously very good on any surface. But I feel like that, for me, playing her on that surface was super hard. And then the year before playing Halep, I was like, I'm getting some tough matches in the 4th round. It's okay.
And when you have losses like that, are you able to sort of process them quite quickly, usually?
At that time, no.
Yeah.
I was very much a person who took like a week basically to get over a loss, to be honest, like especially at a slam. Now, a little bit quicker. It obviously depends on the magnitude of the loss in the tournament. But yeah, I think I'm able to get through them a little bit quicker. Not necessarily easier, but I just know I can't cope or mope too long because you know you have to. The only thing you can do is just, you know, dust yourself off and try to get better.
Is there anything that you do tend to do after losses, like go to the cinema or hang out with friends that sort of make it a little bit better?
Honestly, I just like to get good food, like a burger, like a comfort meal. So like burger or fries or something. Definitely, usually if I'm loose, I'm probably eating something sweet or junky that night. And yeah, it does help me feel a little bit better. So yeah, definitely a comfort meal.
And tapping into that competitive side of you, which I think was so obvious in that clip, do you feel like you love winning more or hate losing?
That's a good question. I think for sure at that time I hated losing more than I did loving to win. But honestly, I think after my US Open win, I think that's when that was like the first moment I felt like I finally loved winning more than I think in that match. And it varies. Like sometimes I do maybe hate losing more, but I think overall I just love the feeling of winning more than I did hate it losing. But yeah, and I think that's when I kind of started to even love the sport even more. Yeah. Because you started to appreciate the wins more. I think in the past I was just, okay, good job, like what's next? And you know, and I would go into matches thinking like, what if I lose this? And you know, now I'm trying to change my perspective and be like, oh, what if I win? And you know, how would that feel winning then? Saying what if I lose and how would that feel to lose?
Yeah, exactly. And so at that point, I mean, you were still a teenager.
Yeah.
And she was a Grand Slam champion. So do you feel like that match maybe taught you a little bit about what it takes to win a Grand Slam, facing someone like that at such a young age?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think it did. And I don't even think she was like one of the favorites to win that year. So it made me, you know, realize that how hard it is to win a Grand Slam, because then I have to play her, and then if I would have won, I had to play somebody probably who was maybe even better at that time, and or even same level, and it's like, okay, you have to win like 3 or 4 more matches like this. So I realized that it's a lot difficult than I think, and it also made me change my perspective, because I was thinking like at slams, if you have like one match that you barely scrape out of, you're like, dang, like the next match, like it's not going to be that great. But now I'm like realizing that's literally a part of the process of winning that Grand Slam. Like you're always going to have that one match that you kind of have to scrape out, and you know it's worth fighting for, because then you can set yourself up to win.
Absolutely. So here you are, practicing this year now.
Oh, okay.
A 2-time Grand Slam champion.
Yes, this was not too long ago, so I remember this. Yeah, I was practicing with Irina, and this is the first practice I ever got to do on center court. Every other time I've been on center court has been with all the... I remember laughing after this rally, because I think I almost fell like 2 times. Wouldn't be a Wimbledon if I didn't end up on the floor. So,
looking back at that clip and then sort of comparing yourself to, you know, how you were when you were 15, then again when you were 17, how are you different as a person and as a player?
I guess at 15 I still appreciated the outside aspects of life, but I think at 17 I didn't as much, and you know, think I was surrounded by tennis, and definitely now I appreciate life, and I think I'm trying to enjoy the ups and downs of the sport. And I guess as a player, I think, at 15, 16, even 17, I didn't feel like I belonged. Like I was playing on these big courts, but I didn't feel like I belonged. And now I feel like I belong more. So yeah, I think it's just a confidence switch. And I was saying in my press conference that I had, I feel like at 21 and 15, I feel a little bit closer like to that person at 15 than I did at maybe 17 and 15, because I felt like 17, I was struggling like with just imposter syndrome and thinking that I didn't belong where I did. And obviously you earn your ranking points, but it just didn't feel like that at the time. And definitely at 15, I felt, okay, I beat Venus, and even though it felt like a dream, I was like, okay, I worked for this. So now at 21, I feel like I'm going almost back to when I first came here.
What I want to know is do you think sort of 15-year-old Coco would be proud of the person and the player that you are today?
Oh yeah, definitely. She would be really happy. Her biggest dream was to win a Grand Slam, so she would be super happy with what has happened thus far.
This is actually my favorite part, because this is a real insight, I think, into what it takes to be a champion and how you have to train your mindset. The affirmations ahead of the French.
Honestly, this was the first time I ever wrote affirmations down. I don't know why I decided to do it the night before, but I did it because I was so nervous, and I was feeling those same feelings that I felt in my French Open final against Iga, where I felt like I couldn't do it. And I saw Gabby Thomas, a clip came up of her that night saying that she did that, and I was like, you know what, whatever, I'm just gonna try it and see if it worked. And I don't know, there's something about writing down things that make it feel more real and more finalized. And yeah, I wrote it down that night and I put it in my tennis bag, and and then I read it honestly right before I went on the court. I said it to myself in the mirror, and I was nervous. I think I was on the bridge of an anxiety attack before that match, and I just remembered I had to redirect my mind, and it worked.
And when you think about everything that we've just watched, the journey, the growth, all of the hard work that you've put in, and all of the incredible moments that you've had here at Wimbledon as well, what would it mean to have your next big moment at SW19?
Yeah, it would mean a lot. I would love to get this one just because of how, my story started. It would be a full circle moment. It would mean the world to, hold that golden plate. It's, to me, one of the, I think, if not the prettiest Grand Slam trophy, so I would love to just have it there. But if not, it's okay. I can, maybe touch it and ask somebody else if I could touch theirs.
And what was your overwhelming emotion looking at all of these? Shocked, amazed, proud?
I mean, the biggest one was the Venus one. I never cried watching that clip. That, I think I felt a lot of pride, I think. Just knowing, I guess, the journey since that point. So yeah, I think for me it was just feeling proud of myself and happy that I stuck with it and, was able to find myself again.
Coco, thank you so much.
That was lovely. That was really cool. Thank you.